Welcome back, Tribe. I want to talk to you about this episode today that's titled The Garden and the Gardener Understanding Modern Relationship Dynamics. And the thought kind of came to me over the past couple of days, actually, this past weekend, really. And I just wanted to share something with everybody. It might make more sense for you in terms of how you should lead and the expectations of boundaries, how to navigate your relationship in the modern world, at least. So, you ever notice how everyone's kind of walking around with these half-dead relationships in the world today? Guys invest everything they got. They pour this time and this energy and all their resources into something that's giving them nothing back, right? So many guys say that they're in relationships where they never get reciprocation, or reciprocity, excuse me. And meanwhile, they're looking at their fathers and grandfathers' generation, seeing these partnerships where both people brought something to the table and wondering, like, what the hell changed? I was thinking about this the other day while working in my garden, and yes, stay with me there, because this actually makes perfect sense. See, I got these 2 garden beds. One of them, I did everything wrong, kept watering it, fertilizing it, hovering over it like some helicopter parent. And you know what happened? It's common sense. The plants got weak. They never developed strong roots because they never had to. They couldn't handle the slightest bit of stress. Any cold snap, anything, absolutely crushed them. The other bed, I set it up correctly from the start. Created the right conditions, but made the plants work for the water, reach deep for all the nutrients, and those plants are thriving, producing like crazy. The tomatoes on those are massive. And it hit me. This is exactly what's happening in modern relationships. Guys are out here acting like plant nursemaids, doing everything for their partners, anticipating every need, removing every single obstacle. And they're wondering why these relationships feel so damn empty, why there's no reciprocation. Why it feels like they're just endlessly giving nonstop and getting nothing in return. But here's what most guys don't understand. And I didn't get this for the longest time either. Women actually want to contribute. Surprisingly, they're built for it. Wired for it at their core. Believe it or not, I'm being dead serious here. Just like how every plant naturally wants to grow, to flower, to produce fruit, it's not about forcing it. It's just creating the right conditions. So sometimes women will tell you things like, I'll be feminine for the right man. They're kind of saying a half truth that pisses men off because they don't want conditional femininity. But think about it. Have you ever seen a woman with a pet or with her close friends or in a relationship where she's genuinely attracted to and respects her partner? It's like watching a completely different person compared to those modern relationships where she's just taking, and taking. She's nurturing, caring, giving, not because anyone's making her, but because there's a natural state where the conditions are right. The problem isn't that women have changed, although they have a bunch as well. Men have changed too. The problem is that we created this weird artificial environment where guys are taught to be these perfect providers right out of the gate, handling everything, expecting nothing. We're basically putting plants in a greenhouse with automatic everything and then wondering why they never developed the strength to stand on their own. Here's where it gets really interesting. Just like how a plant needs the right soil conditions to thrive, women need the right type of man to bring out their nurturing, giving nature. It's actually true, guys. It is all dependent on the man. Again, it's something we hate to hear, but it is your fault in a roundabout way. You can't be some weak, like directionless guy and expect high value women to invest in you. It's like throwing seeds on concrete and wondering why nothing's growing. You see, most guys are approaching this all wrong. They think that if they just keep giving more, simping more, doing more, being more accommodating, eventually they'll get something back. It's like the nice guy conundrum. So it's similar to like watering a plant, hoping it'll suddenly start producing better fruit, right? By overwatering it, you think more and more and more gives you more. No, that's not how it works. In fact, you're actually killing the chance of growth. Watch a master craftsman training his apprentice. He didn't start by doing everything for the kid. Instead, he gives him small tasks, watches how he handles them, gradually increases the responsibility based on performance. And that's exactly how you should approach relationships as well. From day one, you need to establish that this is a two-way street, not in some controlling, like demanding, tyrannical way, but in a natural, this is how things work way. Maybe you're cooking dinner and you ask her to chop up some vegetables, or you're working on a project and you need to get her input on something specific. Small things that test competence and willingness. This is where guys get nervous because they're afraid if they ask for anything that she'll walk away. But here's the truth, man. If a woman walks away because you asked her to contribute to something meaningful to your life, she was never yours to be anyway. That's not the right partner for you. You just saved yourself months or years potentially of frustration. Think about it like building a house. You don't start by putting up the whole structure and then hoping someone will maintain it. You see how someone handles laying the foundation first. Are they showing up? Are they engaged in the process? Do they take pride in contributing? These early signs tell you everything about what kind of partner they'll be. Women get this instinctively. Watch how a woman acts when she's around someone she genuinely values and respects. She's not waiting to be asked to contribute. She actively looks for ways to add value. She wants to be a part of building something. It's like watching someone tend their own garden versus being hired to water someone else's plants. The energy is completely different. But, and this is crucial, this only happens when she sees you as someone worth investing in. Just like how a smart business partner won't pour resources into a failing venture, a high-value woman won't invest her energy into a man who isn't bringing his own strength to the table. And this is where we need to talk about something that makes a lot of guys uncomfortable, and it's the brutal truth. The idea of being worthy of investment. Look at any thriving ecosystem. The strongest plants get the most resources, the most sunlight, the best soil. That's not unfair. That's nature working exactly as it should. Same thing applies here. If you're not working on yourself, if you're not developing your own strength, your own purpose, your own value, why would anyone invest in you? It's like expecting premium results from discount effort. The world doesn't work that way. I see guys all the time complaining about women don't contribute anymore, that they just take and take. But when I look at these guys' lives, what they're really bringing to the table, they're usually stuck at dead-end jobs that they hate, no real direction, no passion, no drive, nothing to offer really. They've got a life that even they wouldn't be a part of, yet they're expecting someone else to enthusiastically jump in and contribute. And they don't even want to be a part of their own lives. Think about it. Think about someone starting a new job. If they walk in and see a thriving, well-run operation with clear direction and purpose, they're naturally motivated to become part of the success. But if they walk into chaos with a leader who doesn't know what they're doing, they're either going to do the bare minimum or start looking for an exit. Here's another truth that's going to sting. Women are naturally drawn to men who have their shit together, who are building something meaningful, not because of some superficial status thing, but because it speaks to something deeper, man. The ability to create and maintain order, to build something lasting, to lead with purpose, vis-a-vis being a man, what a man's man used to be. When you're that kind of man, you don't have to demand contribution. It just comes naturally. It's like having a healthy garden where everything works in harmony. The soil feeds the plants feed the insects pollinate the flowers. Everything contributes because that's how a healthy system works. But, and this is another crucial one, you have to set this dynamic from the start. You can't act like a servant for 6 months and then suddenly expect to be treated like a leader. You can't do everything for someone and then complain when they never do anything for you. The pattern you establish early on tends to stick. Remember that. This brings us to something critical that most guys are missing, the power of early patterns. Think about training a young tree. The way it grows in those first few months determines the shape for life. Try to change its direction years later, and you'll either break it or get nowhere. Relationships are the exact same way. The patterns you set in the first few weeks or months become the foundation of everything that follows. If you start doing everything, being everything, handling everything, that becomes the expected normal. And trying to change that later is like trying to reshape a fully grown tree. Painful and usually unsuccessful. And here's where understanding natural behavior patterns becomes crucial. A woman's instinct to nurture, to contribute, to build something meaningful is like a river. You can either work with its natural flow or try to force it into an unnatural direction. One of these approaches creates something sustainable. The other one always leads to disaster. You see this play out in nature all the time. Take wolves, for example. The alpha doesn't run around serving all the other wolves, trying to prove its worth through constant giving. It leads, it directs, it maintains order. And because of that leadership, the whole pack works together. Each member contributes to the group's success. But here's where things get interesting. And this is something most guys completely misunderstand. This isn't about domination or control. It's about creating an environment where contribution is both expected and valued, where giving to the relationship isn't seen as a burden or a chore, but just a natural part of being involved. Think about how children behave in different environments. In a well-structured classroom where the teacher has clear expectations and values, kids naturally want to participate, don't they? To help, to be part of things. But in a chaotic classroom where the teacher is desperately trying to please everyone, complete disaster. This is why it's so crucial to pay attention to how someone responds to small requests early on. And that could be your version of a little shit test, compliance test. Not demands, it's not an order, just natural opportunities to contribute. If you're working on something and ask for their input, how do they respond? If you're planning something and ask for their help, what's their reaction? These aren't tests per se, they're windows into someone's natural inclinations. When someone is genuinely interested in you, those requests aren't seen as burdens. They're seen as opportunities, chance to demonstrate value, to be a part of something meaningful, to build together, like I said earlier. It's like when you're passionate about a project, you don't wait to get asked to contribute, do you? You look for ways to make it better. And this brings us to the heart of the matter, understanding true value exchange in relationships. Most guys operate like a fucking charity, just giving and giving, hoping someone will eventually appreciate it enough that they'll give back something to you, crumbs, anything. That's not how valuable things work in nature or in life. Think about like minerals that form in earth. The most valuable ones aren't just lying on the surface free for anybody to take. They're formed under pressure through proper conditions over time deep in the soil. They're a pain in the ass to get to. People value what they have to work for, what they have to invest in. It's true in business, in nature, and especially in relationships. Here's something else that I noticed. The most nurturing, caring women I know aren't like that with everyone. Just like how a skilled gardener doesn't waste time and energy on rocky, infertile soil, these women are selective about where they invest their nurturing energy, aka for the right man, I'll be feminine. You hear that all the time. It's just they don't vocalize what they're looking for in a man properly. And that's exactly how it should be by the law of nature. And this is where most modern relationships go wrong, unfortunately. Guys are told that being a good man means removing all challenge, all opportunity for investment from a woman's side, basically becoming a walking doormat / a simp. They're essentially trying to create a zero gravity environment and then wondering why nothing has weight or substance. You understand what I'm saying? The truth is, most women are dying to contribute meaningfully to the right man's life. They want to nurture, to build, to be a part of something. But this is crucial again, only when the guy is worth investing in her mind. Only when he's got his own gravity, his own force that makes investing in him sense. AKA getting your mind, your body, and your spirit right, having your finances in order. This isn't about playing games or creating artificial scarcity. It's about understanding natural law. Everything valuable in nature requires exchange, yes? Requires investment from both sides, yes? A tree doesn't just give you oxygen, it takes in carbon dioxide. There's a balance. Soil doesn't give you nutrients, it receives organic matter back. Everything is an exchange in this world. So here's what it comes down to. If you want a relationship where someone genuinely contributes, where they're naturally wanting to add value to your life, you need to be worth contributing to. You need to be building something meaningful with your life. You need to have direction, purpose, competence. And from day one, you need to create opportunities for investment, for contribution. It's not enough that your mommy told you you're a good man. It's not enough that you're told you're a handsome boy. Those are not enough. Those don't matter. Real value matters. Purpose, competence, direction. Not through demands or manipulation, but through natural inclusion into your world. The same way a strong tree creates its own ecosystem. It doesn't force anything, but just by being a strong oak, strong enough, stable enough to support life around it, it just sprouts other life around it. Remember, in nature, nothing valuable grows in isolation. Everything's part of a larger system of give and a take, mutual growth and support. Your relationship should be the same way. If you're doing all the giving, all the supporting, all the nurturing, you haven't created a relationship, you created a dependent. The choice is yours. You can keep operating like a charity, giving everything away and hoping for appreciation, or you can start operating like nature intended, man. Creating value, expecting value in return, and building something that gets stronger through mutual contribution. Because at the end of the day, what we're all looking for is just someone to be with. What we're looking for is someone to build with. Someone who understands that real relationships, like everything worthwhile in nature, grows through mutual investment, mutual effort, and care. The question isn't whether women are capable of providing value in relationships. The question is whether you're creating the right conditions for that value to naturally emerge. Women should be handing you this, what it seems like is for free, because as your value rises, they would want to. Are you the strong tree worth growing alongside, or are you expecting someone to tend to you like a little flower? Your answer to that question will determine everything that follows in your life, especially your relationships. And that's the title of episode today, The Garden and the Gardener. If you like these styles of episodes, more filled with metaphors and analogies, let me know, as well as any critiques, any ways to improve, other topics that you'd like me to talk about, if you have any ideas. And appreciate everybody that subscribed. Share the channel with everybody. We'll be posting content on this one daily, as much as we can. And we want to make it bigger than the main channel, as well as thank you to everybody that's signed up to the private community. It's a blast speaking with you guys. We have meetings 5 times a week. And thank you again also to people that have been doing the private consults. They help a lot in, supporting the channel and all that stuff, keeping us away from corporate cuckdom and advertising some nefarious products potentially. So appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. As usual, I'm Bo, signing out, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, everybody.